Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Coach Marie. I'm Marie O'Neill, founder of Padma Life Coaching, and your host on this series. This is a place where you ask a question, and I give my unique opinion as a life renewal coach, astrologer, and past life regression facilitator. Please know that I am not a therapist, and I will never tell you what you must do. Each week on Fridays, a new video is released with me answering 2 questions from the viewers. In addition to those 2 questions, I talk about various other life renewal topics. So let's go ahead and get going with the questions for this week. All right, our first question comes from Alex, who is in Seattle, Washington. And Alex writes, I'm completely burned out. The expectation to always be on and productive is crushing me, but stepping back feels impossible, in my opinion, in my competitive field. How can I create sustainable energy and success without sacrificing my well-being or career? This is a really good question. And the first thing is you have to look at your values and what you value. What is the most important thing to you? And I can tell you, if your energy is low, it is going to affect every aspect of your life, which means that you have to look at what your physical form, your emotional form, and your mental form actually need to feel or to be in balance. When we are working, there are times when we do get ourselves out of balance because there are projects that we have to work on and that it takes a lot of energy to complete. When you work on a project and you have downtime afterwards, that is actually ideal. If you're not able to do that, you're going to need to find a way to reduce your workload for a short period of time if you're working on a project that's going to take a lot of energy. I host a lot of retreats, and it takes a lot of energy to put those retreats on, the prep, just everything involved. When the retreat is over, I usually will take a day or 2 to actually not do anything, and that is to recharge. Our bodies, our mental body, our emotional body, it's like a battery. Once that battery runs down, it's very difficult to get it recharged. And you may find this when you work really, really hard over a long period of time. Sometimes the body starts to break down. Sometimes you actually get sick. And this is because the body wants us to relax. So you, first of all, have to look at what it is you prioritize and find out what is your rhythm. And you're going to have to work within that rhythm. If you do not work within that rhythm, you're not going to be able to do it for a long period of time because it's not going to be sustainable. So first of all, figure out what you value, what is most important to you. Figure out what your natural rhythm is for work and see if you can't get yourself in that rhythm and stay there. And even if you get out of that rhythm, know that you need to get back into it if you have to work really hard on something for a short period of time. Because you think about animals. Animals, they play hard, they work hard. Well, don't know if they're working, but they know how to rest. And we have to know how to do that too. So I hope that helps you. All right, let's go ahead and get going with the topic for this week. Our topic is really, it's about the sustainable hustle. And really it is reclaiming your energy in a demanding world. When you need to reclaim your energy in a world, because our world is just go, go, go. We've got social media. We're just really busy. We have to find a way to stop and at least breathe and take a few beats to really do a body scan or a mental scan or an emotional scan to see where you are. When you check into the body, it will tell you if you're out of balance or not. And just because the world is hyped up doesn't mean that you have to be hyped up yourself all the time. If you are watching the news all the time and that gets you hyped up, then slow down on watching the news. You have to figure out a formula that is going to work for you. And the formula that works for you may not be the one that works for your neighbor or your friend or your mate. You have to figure out what your energy pattern is and stay within that. For example, if you know that you don't like having meetings at 8 a.m. because you're really not quite awake or you're not firing on all cylinders, then do your best to not plan a meeting at that time of morning. If you have to plan a meeting at that time of morning, prep for it. Meaning the night before, you'll have to go to bed earlier, or you'll have to take some time after the meeting. Being aware is the biggest suggestion that I can make to you. Being aware of how you are being affected by what's going on around you, how it's affecting your body, and making adjustments. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you, and you will exhaust yourself. And it doesn't mean that you have to stop working for long periods of time. If you just regulate yourself. Remember, we have blood pressure. There's an optimal level for our body system, whether we're dealing with any part of our body function has a regulating part to it. Even the heat in our body, the heat versus the coolness, our body is constantly trying to keep itself in balance. We have to help ourselves to do that when we are dealing with the outer world too. So do what you can to stop, take a beat, figure out how you feel, what is working for you, what isn't working for you. You may have to restructure your life, but you have to do it with awareness, meaning you have to be in the present moment. You have to actually know that there is a problem and you have to seek the solution. So I hope that helps. All right, let's move on to the next question. Our next question comes from Chloe, who is in Austin, Texas. And Chloe writes, I feel like I'm constantly running on empty, juggling work, family, and personal expectations. I know I need rest, but even when I get it, I still feel depleted. How can I differentiate between physical exhaustion and true soul fatigue? And what's the path to deep holistic replenishment? Very good question. If you are just physically tired and it's not from the soul level, then you're still going to feel joy and excitement and feel as though, even though you've worked really hard or you're doing a lot, that you feel really good. Your body, of course, is telling you to slow down and take a rest. That's how you know the difference between the two. In addition to that, if what you are doing feels right, meaning whatever it is you're doing out in the world or for family, if it actually feels right, if it's not coming from the ego, but it's coming from just a sense of happiness, and you want to help other people, but you're doing it without expectation of anything in return. That's, of course, another whole big topic that I'll talk about in another video. In this particular instance, with what you are specifically asking about, you have to look at your intentions behind what it is you're doing for others. You have to look at whether or not you feel joy whether or not what it is you're doing is coming from the ego. These are ways you can figure out if it's soul exhaustion or if it's just physical exhaustion. If it's soul exhaustion, the remedy is going to be quite different than if it's just physical exhaustion. If it's soul exhaustion, you pretty much have to do an analysis to find out where this is coming from, where are you off track, and work out a method or plan to get yourself back on track with your soul intention. If it's soul intention, another thing that can happen is you can feel depressed, not feel any joy at all, just feel as though you're going around in circles and spinning your wheels. If it's just physical exhaustion, as I said, that's an easy fix. You would just plan downtime, and you might have to plan consistent downtimes over a period of time so that you can replenish yourself, replenish your energy field. And you did ask a question about what's the path to deep holistic replenishment. And this is, of course, doing things that bring you joy. That is going to replenish you, even if you're tired. Doing what makes you feel happy. You know, we hear people tell us all the time that you don't want to be selfish. And so, you know, you don't want to take care of yourself because that's being selfish. And I'm here to tell you that is not true. You do need to sometimes be selfish and honor your body system, honor your soul path, and take time for yourself. A lot of times our greatest inspiration comes from times when we are just being quiet, when we're just being by ourselves. So I hope that helps you and answers your question. Please comment below and let me know what you think and how you're getting on. All right, we have come to the end of the episode for this week. Thank you, everyone, for spending your time with me. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel because that really does help the algorithms. In addition, if you'd like to learn more about the services I offer, please go to my website, padmalifecoaching.com. If you'd like to learn more about myself and how I've been traversing this life, please check out my book, And the Lotus Opened, a memoir. You can find that book anywhere online books are sold. In it, I talk about how I work through a lot of the trauma that I experienced in hopes that it gives you inspiration to work through your own issues. If you have questions that you'd like me to answer for you, please send them to padmacoach@icloud.com. That's padmacoach@icloud.com. I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye-bye.